inside the truck. For anything that falls outside of this vehicle cannot and will not be recovered by you nor me. Instead, I'll reach out to the ones who have the skills to safely retrieve those items and return to us at the exit. Next major rule is seats on seats. We have to remain seated at all times. This means no standing, no seat swapping. If we have little ones seated on our laps, they must remain seated there as well. I will not have any reenactments of Simba and Rafiki at Pride Rock today. If you look above, you'll see that handy-dandy spotting guide, which will aid us in identifying many animals that will call the Harambe Wildlife Reserve their home. I cannot promise that we'll see all of them, but I will do my best to seek them out. What will help me is to please refrain from yelling, screaming, or whistling, for that could scare animals way before we or other safaris get the chance to see them. With all that, asante sana, tuwende, and let our safari begin. This first area of the reserve is called the Little Turi Forest. And many animals that will inhabit we well camouflaged, much like the okapi up to our right, as well as this mixed herd of antelope species on our left. You may get a glimpse of the tall gray greater kudu, as well as the British brown bongos. Both the bongo and the greater kudu have those white stripes on their back that recreate the effect of sunlight shining through the canopy, thus improving their camouflage. You may have noticed black and white stripes on the legs of the okapi and think that they're related to the zebra. A fair guess, although incorrect, for instead they are a cousin of the giraffe. You may see those large birds over there. Those are the saddle-billed storks. They will not vocalize like most birds, but will instead rattle their bills to communicate with their partner. Now on our left, an incredibly rare sight of a black rhinoceros. Despite weighing around 2 tons, they're capable of a full gallop like their cousin the horse, getting all 4 legs up off the ground, as they'll run at speeds around 30 miles an hour. Unfortunately, rhinos have been poached for their horns, mistakenly believed made of ivory or containing some form of magic medicinal power. Neither of which is true, as those horns are made of keratin, that being the same material as our fingernails and hair. Now, the astute of you may have noted I did just describe rhinos as cousins to the horse, with big beautiful horns mythicalized to be magical. I'm gonna say it, rhinos are chubby unicorns, and I will not be convinced otherwise. We agree. You may get another glimpse at them with the spotting guide. You'll see 2 types of rhinos on there. Hopefully we'll get a chance to see the white rhino as well. One way you can tell them apart is by looking at their upper lips. Black rhinos here in the forest have a prehensile upper lip, which means it'll be kind of V-shaped. Can function like a finger, which they'll use to grab onto leaves to pull them off the bushes and short trees. Things are looking pretty marshy though, as we are crossing into the Safi River Basin. I will get us as close to the river as possible, for in Africa where there are rivers, there are very likely hippos or crocodiles. besides these animals, we will have to remain vigilant, for both can hold their breath underwater for several minutes at a time. Immediately to our right, though, I am seeing some pink-backed pelicans that get their name for the adorable blush that develops during their mating season. They are colonial nesters and have been known to form groups that can number up to 500 individuals. I did just hear a wheeze honk from a Nile hippopotamus. Fortunately, I can't go back, but good news is where there are a few hippos, there are very likely many more. I see some moving up ahead. See if we can catch up to them. Unless they come over to us. Now, despite looking rather rotund, hippos actually have very little body fat. Underneath their thick layer of skin, they are mostly hollow. Or underneath their thick layer of skin, they're mostly muscle. This makes them very dense, not hollow, quite the opposite, really. Very dense and allows them to sink to the bottom where they can run along the riverbed. This also makes them very powerful animals, for despite weighing around 2 tons, even with their short little legs, they can still run at speeds around 19 miles an hour. And when they run through the water, it will hardly slow them down. This most likely explains how the hippopotamus got their name, for that translates from Latin as to river horse. This looks like we have a whole load of river horses here over on our left enjoying these waterfalls. Oh, I don't remember this sign being here. What's it say? Caution, weight limit 4 tons. I'm sure it'll be okay. I've been dieting after all. As I'm 99% sure you can make it across. Maybe make that 95%. Keep an eye out for moving logs approaching us, for those are most likely Nile crocodiles, the largest reptiles and carnivores here in Africa, reaching lengths of 16 feet and weights of 500 pounds on average, with notable individuals getting significantly larger. They are masters of stealth, so when it gets super rainy and the river is incredibly cloudy, there is a almost 0% chance we could actually see them. And that is the way they like it. Crocodiles are very, very good at stealth and have been doing so for a very, very, very long time. If you were to look in the fossil record, you could find fossils of crocodiles back hundreds of millions of years that are very similar in appearance to modern day crocodiles. Major difference though, way back then they were snacking on the dinosaurs. True testament of the phrase, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Now for a quick little game of good news, bad news, and good news again. Good news, I've been hearing lots of reports of zebras and giraffes up ahead. Bad news, they're in the pathway. Good news, not anymore, so we should hopefully be back on the move with some close sightings. Now it does look like the tree canopy is thinning. Good sign we'll be leaving the forest for the savanna. Another great indicator will be the large barren tree on our right, the baobab tree. Now the baobab goes by many fun nicknames, such as the upside down tree. For it looks like it has its roots up in the air, like it just don't care. Rest assured the baobab is right side up, raining barren leaves for 9 months of the year to conserve water. The other 3 are during the rainy season, which looks to have started today. So hopefully soon that baobab will grow lush with leaves and start storing excess water in that large trunk for the following dry season. That's along their fields. This deters elephants from taking crops Improves the harvest thanks to the pollination done by bees, and the honey they produce can be collected and sold for additional profit. All in all, keeping elephants safe, farmers happy, and giving bees a nice new home. I am seeing many tusk marks in the clay here. Elephants have been known to ingest clay to help round out their diets, getting vitamins and minerals in doses they cannot achieve from consuming plants alone. And it looks like we'll be catching up with the rest of the herd here on our left. Elephant herds like this will consist mostly of adult cows with their young calves. Elephant calves will be some of the safest in the animal kingdom, where have not only mom watching out for them, but also their older sisters, aunts, cousins, grandmas, and in some cases even great-grandmas, working together to make sure they have a safe, happy, healthy life. Now you may have noticed I said nothing about the bulls, and that is because the bull elephants will be off on their own. It's because a fully grown elephant is much too large and powerful to have any natural predators. It's also a lot easier to go shopping for oneself than the whole family. When bulls get together, they tend to be rather competitive with each other. For these reasons, mature bulls generally prefer solitude. Now, they weren't always that way, though. If we're in their little calves, they'd stick with their mothers till when they reach adolescence, at which point most young bulls get an internal urge to go strike it out on their own. Those are a bit more of a mama's boy, and chance the ground will get told by mom herself to pack it in their trunk and hit the road. Off to our right is my favorite animal here on the reserve, the common eland. The eland will actually be the largest antelope here on Harambe, with males like him clocking in at 2,200 pounds. Put that in perspective, that means he's going to weigh almost as much as those fully grown giraffes we saw earlier. On our left, they flamboyance of greater flamingos. Greater comes from being the largest flamingo species in the world. That beautiful pink color of theirs comes from their diet rich in beta-carotene, consisting mostly of shrimp and krill. You also notice a less than beautiful smell that also comes from their diet, consisting mostly of shrimp and krill.
I think this is where the site was, isn't it? Where one butcher site was.
Over on our right, I'm seeing a white rhinoceros. Actually, a pair of them. Compared to the black rhino we saw a while back, the white rhinoceros is a more social creature, preferring to stay in small groups like that known as crashes. Another difference, you may remember I described the black rhino's lip as being prehensile, kind of V-shaped. White rhinos are actually named after the shape of their lips, where not instead of their coloration. It's actually the fight rhino. Fight is translated from Afrikaans as to wide, where they have a flat white upper lip that make grazing on the grass of the savanna a breeze. Atop of this hill on our left is a cheetah, the fastest land animal in the world, capable of sprinting at speeds between 60 and 70 miles an hour, thanks to that super slender build. Does mean they lie down, they can be nearly invisible, so don't feel bad if you don't spot all of them, just know that they are spotted. While the cheetah may be a fairly big cat, they're not a true big cat, for they cannot roar. They will instead bark, chirp, and purr. As members of Felinidae, they'll actually be more closely related to the common house cat than anything like a leopard or a lion. Speaking of lions, a up atop these Copia rocks, I see some lions now. Don't expect too much activity from them during the day though, for they generally like to spend it taking nice long cat naps that can last anywhere from 16 to 20 hours. They do sleep fully throughout the day. Be rest assured the lions will no longer be asleep tonight. It'll be the lionesses who go out and do a majority of the hunting, with the male staying back to protect the cubs. They'll also take this time to patrol their kingdom, ensuring it's free of invaders, marking it through scent and sound with a roar that can be heard up to 6 miles away. On our right, these deer-like antelope are the water bucks, recognized by their adorably heart-shaped nose and the white ring around their rumps. They get their name for their defensive maneuver, for in pursuit by predators they will fearlessly dive into bodies of water. They are fantastic swimmers and will be easily able to get away. Also off to the right, a lovely female ostrich. You can tell it's a female given her beautiful brown plumage. For only the males will develop the solid black feathers on their bodies. There looks to be the male lion now. He is content in the security of his kingdom and progeny. He may join the ladies out on the hunt, especially if they've elected to go after larger prey such as the Cape buffalo.
I was like, we gotta come when it's raining more often. There's another ostrich up there on the right.
Which is the fastest biped in the world, capable of running at speeds around 43 miles an hour. They are also the largest bird in the world, therefore will also lay the largest eggs like this clutch here on our right. Each ostrich egg can contain roughly 24 chicken eggs worth of material. Don't think they'd make for an easy omelet though, as their eggshells are so robust that if any of us were to stand on one, it would not crack under the pressure. Welcome to Magadi Glen. Wanted to swing by the warden supposed to say Jamba to their herd of Nigerian dwarf goats. These adorable little mischief makers are known for their milk producing capability, which can be refined into a rich and creamy cheese. You also note that yellow box thing out front? That's actually the prototype for the elephant beehive program I was discussing a while back.
Hi.
Now, if you're a fan of the dwarf goats, I know of another herd all the way out at Rafiki's Planet Watch. They're looking forward to all the pets and scratches you'd be willing to give them.
Oh, Rafiki's Lodge.
Now, my friends, I'd like to thank you all for joining me out on safari today. I'm very glad with the wide array of animals we got to see, and I hope they will show many more people these amazing creatures in the future. Fortunately, though, many of them are endangered and in need of assistance. The great African savanna, taking the beauty of the nice wide open plains, speeds many animals that will call it home or rely on their speed, agility, both numbers, or any combination of these effects in order to stay safe out here. Way off in the distance, I'm seeing some zebras going at high speed now. Fast as I've seen them go. And they've stopped. I'll try and get us a bit closer for some better views. But even at this distance, I can tell that those are mountain zebras. Now, easiest way to tell is by looking at their bellies, as underneath they'll have that solid white patch, and the mountain zebra is the only type to have it. For the well-trained eye, you may also notice on their hind legs the stripes will be a bit larger and more spaced apart than in other types of zebra. left, I'm seeing some painted dogs taking shelter beneath this rocky den. The painted dog is the most successful hunter on the African savanna, with a higher success rate than lions, hyenas, cheetahs, and leopards, thanks to their high levels of endurance and phenomenal sense of teamwork. While the painted dog may look very similar to hyenas, they are not closely related, for of the two, only the painted dog is a true canine. I do apologize, my friends. Even all the way out here in Africa, we cannot escape that I-4 traffic. On our left, these beautiful bovines with the big horns are the Ankole cattle, also called the Watusi cattle for the tribe that originally domesticated them. They were not kept for beef, leather, nor milk, but instead as a status symbol to reflect great wealth. The original Cadillac, if you will. On our left, you may also see those dark brown antelope. They are the sable antelope, the emblem of the Harambe Wildlife Reserve, chosen rather than simply running from predators, they instead fiercely defend their herd, slowing their horns as a sign of intimidation. You may think the large horns of the Ankole cattle are some heavy headwear. Not all that true, for they are mostly hollow, with a honeycomb-like structure providing solid strength and support relative to their size. While those horns can grow to be 4 feet in length, like the ones on that bull there, they'll only weigh about 5 pounds apiece. Now do keep an eye out on this hill here. You may see a lot of the dense African bush that's going to be able to hide many animals, including fully grown elephants and giraffes. But notice how there are kind of a lot of dirty trails here.
That was actually really
I would
cool.
definitely say these zebras are having a fun time out here. If memory serves me, I believe the top speed of the zebra will be about 35, maybe almost to 40 miles an hour. They're a bit slower than the domesticated horse, however, they're going to be a lot more agile. I'm just going to take it nice and slow, just because they're going to be able to turn on a much sharper dime than I am. I'm often asked, are zebras white with black stripes or black with white stripes? The key is to look at the nose. The black nose on the mountain zebra indicate they are indeed black with white stripes.
That's really cool.
Up ahead over on our right, I am seeing some wildebeest off in the distance. Looks to be a relatively small herd. I say relatively small, for the wildebeest have been known to form mega herds, which can number up to 1.5 million individuals. This would make them the second most densely grouped up mammal in the world, only after us humans. They'll form these mega herds during their great migrations, which they will travel hundreds of miles, following the rains to get access to the freshest grass. be sizzling new. This is after the sound they've been known to make. If you didn't know that before, well, now you do. Up ahead, I am seeing a Maasai giraffe. They develop not only those long necks, but also long prehensile tongues that they'll use to grab onto leaves to pull them off the trees. Giraffe tongues are so long, in fact, they can actually lick their ears if they so choose. I do recommend you get a good photo of each individual here, for no two giraffes will share the same spot pattern, thus allowing you to tell them apart from one another. Up ahead, I'm seeing many fallen trees. Good sign of elephant activity, as elephants have been known to knock down trees to get access to all that greeny leafage to help fuel their big bodies. In doing so, this will make elephants ecological engineers. So by knocking down old trees, it allows for new growth to take hold. Way up on our right, I see our culprit now. Let's see if I can get us for a bit of a closer view. From the looks of it, we have a pair of African elephant cows here. The African elephant is the largest land mammal in the world, with the cows weighing in at 10,000 pounds. Bull elephants can weigh up to 13,000. Now, you don't get to be this size by skipping out on carbs and having a low-calorie diet, but unfortunately for elephants, agricultural developments have been encroaching more and more on the savanna. This has caused them to get tempted to take crops for themselves, putting them in odds of farmers. Thankfully, though, we found a peace resolution in the form of bees. Elephants are not too keen on bees and will often head for the hills as soon as they hear that buzzing. So we've worked with local farmers, set up beehive. News is I'm taking us back to a place where it can all help out today. Bird Animal Kingdom and all the stores donations can be made to the Walt Disney Conservation Fund. All contributions will be matched dollar for dollar, cent for cent by Disney. So no matter how big, no matter how small, any and all donations will greatly aid in preserving the circle of life, allowing future generations to explore the wilderness to see all those wonderful animals that we got to see today. Now back at Animal Kingdom, if we are looking for more encounters, I would highly recommend the Gorilla Falls Exploration Trail. That'll be located near the Express Safari, where you may get a closer view of those hippos and okapis, as well as meet some of the greatest great apes in the world. To my wilderness explorers, you've been riding on the Simba 1 with your friend Wilkes. Once again, my wilderness explorers, you've been riding on the Simba 1 with your friend Wilkes.